Skyrush and El Toro are some of Intamin's greatest creations. Two rides that are airtime and intensity focused. Neither ride takes their foot off the gas until you hit the final brake run. But the question is, which powerhouse Intamin is the better one? This comparison will feature various categories where I will decide which ride fulfills that trait better. I will see which ride I think is the overall better ride experience. Although both rides aren't the same ride models, they just ride very similar. Starting the comparison is the ride stats. Skyrush dominates at an intimidating height of 200 feet, while El Toro has a monstrous height of 181 feet. El Toro's height is very impressive for a wooden roller coaster. And the same for that drop. It's 176 feet, while Skyrush has a 212 foot drop, and Skyrush even overlooks El Toro in terms of speed. Skyrush travels 75 miles per hour, while El Toro trails behind with a top speed of 70 miles per hour. However, El Toro has more track length than Skyrush. El Toro boasts an impressive 4,400 feet of track. Skyrush is only 3,600 feet of track. I think it's obvious that Skyrush is the clear winner when it comes to comparing the two roller coasters' ride stats. Skyrush's lift hill feels like it travels at a faster rate. El Toro has the better views on the way up. You overlook the safari and you take it at a comfortable pace to take in all those views. Both lift hills do not mess around. My love for cable lifts began with these two rides. In the front row, these lift hills feel like launches, and you are definitely going high on either ride. So these lift hills can be intimidating. They're like previews for the ultra intense rides to come. I'm going to give this victory to El Toro, simply because it's less quick, so you have the chance to take in all of those views of the surrounding rides in an entire park. Next up are the first drops. Both are primarily known for those giant drops you take with some crazy speeds. Back row is a must on either ride for the drops. The cable lifts lead to momentum into each drop. It's difficult to compare these two as they feel vastly different. El Toro is more sustained, but captures some insane out of your seat airtime the duration of the hill. And for Skyrush, you don't start off with that same instantaneous power, but you get hit with it halfway down the drop. There's a brief change in profiling that causes you to be launched out of your seat. It's one of the greatest pops out there because of how strong it is. That small lap bar is the only thing keeping you in, and it's really testing the safety of those new gen Intamin restraints. El Toro has the T-bars too, so either ride will have you feeling exposed as you face true powerful airtime dropping from impressive heights. It honestly all comes down to which airtime you value more. El Toro has the bonus of the longer trains as well. My vote is going to go to Skyrush simply because of the power, and riding it in the back row on the left wing seat is a feeling you can't experience on any other ride. Although I could see the argument for anyone who might prefer the first drop on El Toro, both roller coasters seriously have some of the best first drops. Airtime is another very difficult category to compare. This is the strength of these Intamin coasters. The strength and power are relatively the same, while they feel drastically different. Skyrush is sustained, but takes the hills with some crazy pace. It feels illegal to take such small hills at great speeds. You're getting that out of your seat ejector airtime any time of the day in any row. Skyrush's focus of the ride is airtime, and it shows. If you're not taking a low to the ground turn, you're being thrown out of your seat, even for some lateral ejector. For me, the camelbacks on Skyrush are the best hills on the ride. They're sustained and some of the most powerful hills out there. The finale even has a good pop, so you don't lose the steam you build up until you hit the brakes. El Toro's highlight is those first two camelbacks for me. These are sustained, and the thing that separates them from typical camelbacks is instead of typical floater, you're experiencing pure ejector airtime for the entire element. It still baffles me how powerful and sustained two elements can be. And they're in a row too. These are my favorite airtime moments of all time. To add to that, you have the insane power of the Rolling Thunder hill. So it's a close victory for El Toro. Don't sleep on that airtime on Skyrush either though. I'd take either of these rides' hills any day. Seriously, some of the best out there. Like airtime, intensity is a focus of both rides. For me, This one has a clear winner. First drop and airtime can be interchangeable as they are so close. Skyrush is the clear winner when it comes to intensity. If you're not getting launched out of your seat for varying sensations of ejector airtime, you're being thrown in your seat for some insane positive Gs. I managed to gray out on almost every ride. You will most likely get a sustained gray out after the first camelback. El Toro doesn't do that for me. There's a few switchbacks, but there's a few sections of track that don't do much for me. Skyrush just cranks it to 11 from the second you launch out of the station until you come back into the station. For me, Skyrush's intensity is unparalleled simply because of the contrast of positives and negatives. And it's highlighted by those trains. The intensity is elevated by those trains. Skyrush has the wing seating. Plus, with the exposure you get from those lap bars, the trains are very unique. However, El Toro easily has the better restraints. I love Intamin's T-bars. They allow for so much airtime. They're fairly comfortable too. I wish more Intamin rides could have the trains that El Toro has. Not to mention, that Zero car looks amazing. I think it's obvious that I prefer the trains that El Toro has to Skyrush's. I don't mind the trains on Skyrush at all. Almost the same things I loved about El Toro could be applied to those on Skyrush. Skyrush will win for uniqueness, but El Toro has the better comfort. I think El Toro will take the edge for that alone. Presentation is something not many people credit to a great ride, but it really does elevate the experience. Walking up to your favorite roller coaster and having it present itself with dominance in the area adds a lot. Whether it's that theming that the section of the park needs, or just the presence, it makes a large difference for the ride's vision. Skyrush has a great hidden path, but El Toro will win. That giant wood structure is presented flawlessly. It has a commanding presence over the water and trees. Even with the world's tallest roller coaster being located right next to it, you still feel the large scale of the ride. Skyrush is kind of tucked away and hidden behind Comet. You can only see the ride's lift and drop for most of the park, so El Toro will without a doubt win this category. Reriding a ride is very important. I always want to go back in line to re-ride a world-class attraction. El Toro is fairly difficult to re-ride with its potholes in the turnaround, but it's still pretty manageable. The roughness is completely bearable. Skyrush is even easier to marathon, not only because there's never a long line, however, it's because the ride has a more well-rounded layout. It's such a fun ride. The second you hit the brake run, I'm sure you'll be already planning your next ride to get right back on. These two roller coasters are equally taxing because of the strong airtime and forces. Re-riding can be somewhat difficult. It's still practical to get more than 10 rides in a day without feeling any effect. Skyrush will always be the more re-rideable ride, and the high capacity leads to shorter lines. Neither ride has a notable theme. You don't really wait in line for the ride experience to be elevated by a theme or vision. It's commonly understood that both rides are thrilling machines, not meant to entertain guests with a common theme. So, I think I'm going to give this one to El Toro. I always love a Western theme. The station looks really cool, and obviously the same with the train. Skyrush has an airport theme, but this only can be noticed with the audio in the station. It's really cool, but I think I like the theme of El Toro slightly more. Either ride is more focused on the ride's layout rather than entertaining riders with stories or thematic elements. Overall, I think these are two of Intamin's greatest attractions. They feel remarkably similar. Picking one over the other has always been a challenge. I always viewed the rides as similar but very different rides. I mostly prioritize airtime and an intense layout, which is the main focus of both of these Intamin roller coasters. El Toro will barely take the edge over Skyrush for my favorite Intamin, but there's so many Intamin masterpieces. When they have a great ride, they knock it out the park. This comparison was completely subjective. Both roller coasters are amazing, so picking one over the other in each category was difficult. Let me know which ride you prefer in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this comparison, make sure to check out my other coaster battle videos. Thank you so much for watching.